Today I want to talk to you about citing your sources. Many of you have probably taken an English class. It's one of the prerequisites for this course. And if you've taken an English class, you know that usually you have a footnote or an endnote where you cite your source and you say where you got the information that you're using. This class is no different. Well, it's a little different. Instead of having an endnote or a footnote citation, you're going to be also citing out loud. You will still cite your sources in the text of your outline and in your works cited or your bibliography, but you're going to be citing them out loud in your speeches. So you might say, according to a Time magazine article from 2006, the June edition, Dr. Peter Farrow says blah, blah, blah. Okay? There are more creative ways to say according to, and you may want to mix it up so that it doesn't sound like you're just repeating that over and over again, according to, according to, according to. You might say a abcnews.com article by Mia Thermopoulos says, okay? You might use states, you might use reports, you might use contends, you might say they mention or point out something. So any of those can be used as a way of varying your language when you cite a source. Different sources, different types of sources require different amounts of information that you need to give to your audience. If you have a book, you need the author of the book and the title of the book. So, for instance, The Content of the Form by Hayden White states that, okay, if you're using a journal article, for instance, this quarterly journal of speech here, you might say a Ramey McCarrow and Jeffrey St. John review in the August 2006 quarterly journal of speech mentions, okay, if something is by an anonymous author, be sure that you say an unnamed source says, or an unnamed source contends. Don't cite anonymous. That's not a real person. Okay, let's get to .coms. I prefer that you do not use .coms. However, there is an exception. The only exception to using .com sources in your speeches that require research is news sources like cnnnews.com or foxnews.com or abcnews.com. So using those types of .coms are the only way that I will allow you to sneak in those .coms into your research. If you're using a TV or a radio program, there's a few things you need. One is that you need the original air date. So you need to find out when that Dateline NBC show aired, so that you can tell me original air date and you can tell me the call letter. So again, NBC's Dateline. Okay, let's go back to what you need for web addresses. Remember I said we're not using .coms unless they're news sources. You need a few things for that. You need the article title, the website itself, and then you need a either the last update, like when the website was last updated, or you need a retrieval date. So retrieved on, remember when you saw it, because those links are not always permalinks. So even if you told me that you got it, like let's say it was there when you looked at it on November the 15th, well, if I go and look at it in January, it may not be the same thing, okay? They may have changed the links around. So you need to tell me when you last retrieved it and when it was last updated, and or when it was last updated. Okay, so I expect to see good research and excellent citation of these sources when next I hear from you.